G'day. Just started pissing down. I've literally got 5 minutes to film this. So it has been a long time since I got a video up on this channel or my main channel. I've been a bit busy. So, but I am back. I'm back into it. Hopefully a little bit more, not full crazy like I used to be. So I just wanted to get something out on the unofficial channel. It is, I'm going to come in closer in case you can't hear me. Get something out on the unofficial channel. Just a little shop project, just to get back into the groove of things. I've been doing woodwork. This is actually the most recent thing I've made, so I'm sort of going to work backwards. So I'll let this little project get underway. I've got a heap of other shop upgrades. I'll get those projects up on the Dana Made unofficial channel as well. The main project, which is sitting underneath the tripod right here, I'll hopefully get that finished off within the next couple of days, edit the video, get that one up, and be officially back, which is cool. It is really good to be back out here. I just want to quickly say thank you to a couple of blokes specifically. Now, heaps of people have reached out to me over the last 5 or 6 months, basically checking if I'm still alive, but actually just checking in on me just to see if I'm actually doing okay, which I am. I'm fine. I'm doing great. As you know, just been super busy. Now, heaps of people have done that, and I can't mention them all, but two specifically. Trent Walsh. I don't think he believed me when I said I'm fine. He just continually checked in on me, which is awesome. And Lucas Resignate Woodco. He has checked in on me heaps as well, which is really cool. Now, that's what you're meant to do. If you got concerns, contact people and check in on them. And if you're not convinced, then do what those blokes did and just keep checking, because you never know. That could actually be the big difference to someone that really needs to be checked in on. So I very much appreciate that. It was nice to see. I just hope that's happening out there for all sorts of people. Okay, anyway, on with the video. So thanks for sticking with me. Alrighty, so it's going to be all voiceover from here on in, just like I used to do in the good old days. Anyway, I've got a heap of scrap form ply, so I just want to clean up all the edges initially and start cutting out the pieces for this little project. It is just going to be a single box with a single drawer to go underneath my router table. So all those projects are all the ones I was talking about, and they're going to be coming in the future for this channel. So, but the pace of these, as you know, it's a lot of talking. It's just showing what I'm doing. A lot of woodworky goodness, but don't expect to be too blown away by the project itself. It's just to see how I work as well, give you some ideas how I set things up as I work through a little project that only took me the morning or so to do, but it was just good to be out in the shed and have a bit of a play. So let's get into it. So as you can see here, me reaching around the back of the blade there, super slow and careful. That's not ideal. So one of the things that this project basically is going to make me do is get some zero inserts made for the table saw. The stock insert that this comes with, they're not that great. I've broken a few of them now. So as they start to break, they start to collapse, and that's when your workpiece gets caught up on the saw, etc., etc. Not ideal. So I'll talk more about that a bit later when I highlight another little issue. So here's the box. Like I said, very exciting. Now, what I love about the form ply and what I was just doing, cutting those little rebates with the table saw, if you've got a flat tooth grind blade, you can cut these bits like that. It gives you a nice crispy edge, and then as long as you've set that to the perfect width of your form ply, it lets you just place it all together. You don't even need to check square. You just plonk it all together and it sits there beautifully like that. And then you can just glue it together. So really cool way of doing things, and the form ply is a nice looking feature, especially for the shop stuff. That's why I like to use it. I never throw any form ply out, so it's always handy to keep those scraps because generally they're pretty square and you can just crack on with your project. So I was saying, I haven't used a square or anything or checked anything as yet. I'm just hoping for the best, that all my machines have been set up pretty well now, and when I make a cut or use a cross cut or a miter or whatever, it's going to be nice and square. So I'm feeling pretty confident that I can just glue this thing together. Especially with those little rebates, they help hold everything nicely into position. So everything is just where it needs to be. Like, it's a beautiful thing, and I don't know how else to describe it. But anyway, so this project would probably be just fine with glue. However, I will add a couple of screws in case I end up loading this little drawer up with heaps of bits and pieces, router stuff, etc., etc. So I will make the carcass a little bit strong, okay? This is literally the first check square episode of this project. And sometimes I do shock myself, and look at that. It is absolutely perfectly square, like a square thing. So again, we can thank the machines, the years of getting better at things and just making shit work. Okay, inside the drawer, inside the box, I need a drawer. I've got a heap of this laser ply. It's super lightweight. It's for laser, so it's designed to be able to be cut with a laser, so it's not going to be super dense. So it's very light, very, very easy to play with. So I'm just going to go through this routine using the actual space I've got inside the box to get the measurements I need for the drawer itself. So what I love is there's no maths. I'm just using the existing things to get what I need, basically. So not much fluffing around at all. Again, machines are set up, everything's getting cut nice and square, stop blocks, all that routine. And I will put the little rebates on this form ply as well. So again, I'm just using the materials themselves to get the heights and widths and all that. How's your father that you need. But then keeping in mind, I've got to rebate it. So this measurement I'm taking here, I'm just going to add 6mm for 2 widths of the table saw blade. So then in theory, when those pieces go together and they're recessed, I should have the exact size I need for the little drawer to be a pretty flush trim fit. Okay, again, I'm using the table saw to cut the little rebates. Now this is a thinner material, so I've got to get that blade closer to the fence, and there wasn't actually much for my stock to hang onto that insert, and it was actually quite bendy, like a trampoline, little bouncy going on. So I'm going with an alternate means here. I'm going to put on the sacrificial fence, bring the fence right over to the blade, and then run the stock up against the fence, cutting the rebate inside. So you won't actually see the material getting removed here. It's on the inside. That actually just gave me a little bit more table saw insert to hang off. So there is a bit of flex. So there's a little bit of carnage, but it did a better job than my original pass, which I actually didn't get on camera. So, but again, this was like the last straw that I really have to make these table saw inserts, because it is the one thing that can really muck up your workpiece, become dangerous as well. So that is high on the priorities list to get that sorted. Okay, so throw all the pieces in. You'll be shocked that it actually worked first go, which is cool. So again, I'll just use what I've got there to get the remainder pieces, which is the front and back of the drawer. A little bit of fluffing around, taking a few measurements until I can basically get that thing in exactly where it needs to be. Took me a few goes to remember which piece was which again, I think I wrote myself some little notes, bottom and side, to help me to make sure I then put them back in the right spots. So, long story short, I got there. Spoiler alert. Okay, so that's looking good and square, believe it or not. Okay, just about to glue it up. If you do look carefully, you're going to see the little bit of carnage on those rebates. That was where, on the bit I didn't film, the workpiece was actually pushing down because of the dodgy table saw insert. Now, no big deal, this is a piece of shop furniture, but obviously if you were making something for a client, that's obviously going to be pretty shit. And why? You really want to take the time to make sure your machines are all set up perfectly so that you don't have those, what do you call them, hiccups. This little box, it's just going to be held together with glue. Everything, there's a nice glue bond in all the corners. It's only going to be holding router bits and pieces. I don't really see getting loaded up with heaps of weight in the future. But if it fails, obviously I'll be able to repair it, add some screws, but I can't see that happening. So we're just going to run with glue. So I've actually been back in the shed for several weeks now, trying to finish off projects that have been going for months, and you can hear about those when I get the main video out. But this little project, this was one of many that was just nice to be out in the shed, fluff around, make something simple, and literally just enjoy doing things in the shed and goofing off, of course, like this. But, I mean, I'm preaching to the converted. You're watching this video, you like making stuff, you like being in your little special place. So, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, yeah, check out my flash router setup here and router fence. Now, I have been working on some content for the TimberCon channel as well, where I make a couple of end grain chopping boards. You can actually see one over sitting on the jointer there. There'll be two videos for those guys. The second one is about making this router fence and actually finishing off the chopping boards on the router. But anyway, if you're keen on that, check out TimberCon. Okay, a couple of good bloke shout outs. So you just would have saw the 3D printed dust port. They're designed by the Swedish maker, but I've had Dan from Riverside Woodworks. He's been printing off a heap of those things for me. And you also would have seen the little 3D printed drawer that goes inside the table saw, what's it called? Fence. Now, Anthony has been designing that for me and printing those off. He also then sent me another 4 drawers or prototypes, which I'm going to use in random ways. But I just want to say thank you to those guys for being overly generous, obviously, and helping me out with my little storage bits and pieces and helping get my shed sorted. Okay, now Trent's 2 favourite bits is the flush trim, and like me, loves the chamfer. And as he says, they're pretty much the only 2 bits you need. So that is literally all you're going to see in this video. I'll use the flush trim to then clean up the edges on all the form ply, and then I'll use the chamfer to take the sharp edge off, but also just to feel good on the inside. And you must admit, a little chamfer on the form ply looks pretty unreal. So, also this router, this heavy duty router and this router lift, I bought that with my own dollary dues. It was very much a time to buy myself something really nice. I've been through the other routines of using the palm routers and all that sort of stuff, clamping your router in the vise, dodgy things like that. But to have this router lift set up in the side wing of the table saw now, I've made this U-butte fence, which was also another fun project. Just getting to that point where you've got some pretty decent setups, it really does start to help improve your woodwork. I know what's the saying? A poor tradesman blames his tools, but that's true in some ways. But slowly getting your shed upgraded here and there, it really does help you out. So you don't need everything, obviously, but you might want to start to identify something that you might really want to save up your dollary dues for, and put the money into it and get the goodness from it, like I am with this router table. Okay, because I didn't hit record when I flush trimmed off the form ply box, this is me flush trimming off the drawer itself. Now again, this is that laser ply. See how it's super soft? The bearing actually leaves an indent on the surface of the timber here. No big deal, because I'm just going to sand that away. But again, I'm only using this laser ply for shop furniture, and it's all going to be fine. Alright, you may have heard me in the past saying how much I hate making drawers. Now, that stems mostly from, again, being an amateur and not being able to get things square and true and plumb and everything. But again, the machines here have helped me, and a little bit of experience, get things nice and square. And the fact that I've made this drawer fit inside a box and it's square, and it fits perfectly, it's perfect. That's a bit of a win, and you got to take your wins, and I'm taking this one. So again, I'm flush trimming the drawer face off because I know the box fits flush. I want the drawer face to actually sit inside, and then I'm cutting it to height because the drawer sits slightly lower, and as you can see there, it's absolutely perfect. And how about a round of applause for me? Okay, and an aggressive chamferization on the drawer itself, because when that goes inside the box, you get this nice little form ply black look, and I like it. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, went looking for a drawer pull. First thing I found was this, which is, yes, it's a bottle opener. So I figured I may as well use it up because I've got a heap of them, and it obviously is a bottle opener. I mean, that's pretty handy. So for the install for this drawer, it's literally hanging underneath the router table. I didn't want to make any sort of chest of whatever. I want to leave this space underneath for now, free, until I really figure out what extra bits and pieces I need in this shop. But again, this is a quick upgrade for some storage. This is a little on-the-spot bonus. I just had a little picture framing screw, and then I can keep one of my riving knives under there, which is nice and handy and accessible. From the top here, I could drop in a couple of extra long screws, so that's going to give a little bit more support to the drawer from the top, as well as on the side of the existing router fence that I made as well. Okay, so check it out. In goes the drawer, and out goes the drawer. Look at that, in and out. Who loves that? Me. Thank you. Okay, and there we go. So now I've got a spot for the tools that I need for using at the router table, which is super handy, and I won't actually lose them in amongst all the other crap in my shed. Okay, so check it out. Look at that. Opens beers. Just don't drink and router table. Unless, of course, it's a 0 alcohol beer, which I don't drink because what's the point? Okay, quick preview of what's coming up after the next main video, I've got all this decking material. My mate was throwing it away. I couldn't say no, so I brought it home. The good thing is you don't have to shoot any nails out. You can just screw them out. So once I got the right decking drill bit put in, then I could just take all the screws out, and then I'm going to be ready to go. I've just got to go through the normal routine, metal detecting, cleaning. There's a lot of dirt on these, so I do have to clean it up. But that, I don't know what the project is going to be. No idea yet. But I'm looking forward to getting started. So hopefully you'll see this in the future. That's pretty much it for now. New vid coming out very soon on the main channel. Thanks very much. Catch you later.